Hi everyone, I'm Kirsten from IDERA, and I'd like to welcome you to today's Geek Sync titled Improving Query Performance in Azure SQL Database. Our speaker today is John Morehouse, Microsoft Data Platform MVP and consultant at Denny Cherry and Associates, here to discuss how to troubleshoot performance issues in Azure SQL Database and what you might be able to do to help fix them. At this time, I will turn things over to John to get started. John, over to you.
Thank you everybody for joining. My name is John Morehouse. I am gotta be on the right slide. I'm a consultant with Denny Cherry and Associates. My contact information is on the slide before you. Most importantly is my email, john@dcac.com. You are welcome to email me questions about this presentation or just about anything SQL related. Pretty heavily involved in the SQL Server community as a whole. So I like to help people out. If you got a work problem, you got a performance problem, you're stuck on something, feel free to drop me a line. If I can help you, I'll be happy to do so. If I don't know the answer, I can probably point you in the right direction to somebody who would. So feel free to drop me an email. My LinkedIn information is there as well. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I do tweet, so I'm on Twitter. Twitter is about the only social media platform that I really am involved with. But that's SQL R Us. I always have to quantify that. It's not SQL Russ, it's SQL R Us. So I know Toys R Us is bankrupt, but thank Toys R Us, everything toys. I touch just about every facet of SQL Server in some fashion. Just don't ask me to build you a Power BI report because that's not me. I do blog at sqlrs.com. I will say that I haven't blogged recently because of just the status of the world. I haven't blogged, but when I do blog about the internals of SQL Server. I'm that weird DBA that likes to reverse engineer hexadecimal at 10:30 on a Saturday night because I have no social life. I speak quite often, now all virtual conferences. And again, I blog and I tweet. I am a member of the Microsoft MVP Data Platform, so I'm very honored to be a part of that community. I do help run the local user group here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I do help organize SQL Saturdays. Unfortunately, our SQL Saturday this year had to be postponed, most likely until 2021. But if you're ever in the area and we actually get back to in-person SQL Saturdays, we'd love for you to join. What are we going to talk about today? One of the first things we got to do is figure out how are we going to find our bad queries. With Azure and Azure SQL Database, we've actually got some options and capabilities that we can utilize that we don't necessarily have with on-premises installations. So we got to talk about how we're going to find those bad queries. And then we're going to talk about service tiers. Now, service tiers you might not think about as a way to improve performance, but we're going to talk about how upgrading your service tier can actually help improve your performance. And then we're going to talk about some automatic tuning. Automatic tuning is, there are some features on premises that you can utilize, but with Azure SQL Database, we actually have the ability to do some automatic tuning behind the scenes, which is really cool. And then we're going to talk about some 2019 enhancements that comes with Azure SQL Database that you can implement in your code or on your databases without any code enhancements. And so that's a really easy way to get better performance right out of the box pretty quickly. So where do we find bad performance issues with Azure SQL Database? So I want to talk about 3 different areas that you can utilize in Azure SQL Database to initially find these bad performing queries. And the first one is going to be Query Performance Insights. Now, Query Performance Insights is baked into the product. You get it right out of the box. It offers a quick way to gain some analytics about how your queries are performing. We can see in the image I have on that slide, the top 2 queries by CPU, data IO, log IO, so we can actually look at that and see. So, whoops, wrong button. So if we zoom in here a little bit, we can actually see these metrics right over here. So we can see quickly what queries are performing poorly. Now in this screenshot, we can see that I've got one query here. This is just a simple workload that I ran against a demo SQL database, AdventureWorks 2017. We can see that right here, I have high CPU. So I would want to click on that and drill into that query and gain information about what that query is doing. From that insight, we can then make a determination on what we want to do. Does it need an index? Do we have automatic tuning enabled? What does it really need to help improve that performance? Okay.